team with 6 and 10, and we ain't smell the playoffs. Then it gets even better when your team makes the playoffs.
Wrong.
Who else could it be but me, your man, Louie T. Welcome to NFC Wildcard Overtime. Eagles, Bears. What a game that was. Everything that I thought it would be and then some. Got it wrong. The first one, the only one of the weekend I was not able to get correct. And goddamn it, Nicholas Foles strikes again. I can't seem to get a handle on his ass. Every time I doubt him, every time I doubt these Eagles, led by Nicholas Foles, I get egg on my face. I did it again. I'm going to do it again next week because I don't think they have a shot in hell of going to New Orleans and winning that football game. But I said it before, and every time I say that, they win the goddamn game. It is insane. This was the one game that I was pretty sure of. Out of all the games this weekend, this was the one that I felt like there's no way the Eagles are going to Chicago and winning. It's a bad matchup for them. Really, I thought it was a bad matchup for both teams. I thought Philadelphia had enough offensive creativity to give the Bears some fits and some issues. But I also thought that the Bears were so good defensively that the Eagles were going to have some issues offensively. And we all know that the Eagles defensively, especially in the back half, weren't that great. But the Bears aren't that great on offense themselves, so they weren't going to take full advantage of having the Eagles have a suspect secondary. So I thought it was a bad matchup for both teams, but I thought that the Bears defensively, they were the best unit on the field for all units in this game. Special teams of both teams, offense of both teams, defense of both teams. They were the best unit of any unit for any team in this game. And so I thought the Bears would win out because their defense was better. They created turnovers, did the Bears. They gave themselves a chance in this game. And it came down to Cody Parkey. I think I specifically said, if I remember correctly, as a matter of fact, let's get to the keys to victory for both teams that I gave you in the prediction video leading up to this game. Let's get to the prediction and keys to the victory that I gave you before the game. So, keys to victory for the Eagles in this game. Old Saint Nick. Well, he did throw 2 interceptions, and there were times where he didn't look sharp in this football game, but goddammit, the first drive of the game, Nicholas Foles was sharp, and when they needed him most, the final drive of the game, Nicholas Foles was absolutely fantabulous. All right, he did it again. That goddamn magic that he has in his bag, it just never ceases to amaze me that every time you think, okay, they've got him this time, he does it again, and on 4th down, with the game on the line, Foles rolls out, finds Golden Tate for the touchdown, the go-ahead game-winning score. God damn it, man. Nicholas Foles, you son of a bitch. They definitely got what they needed out of him in this football game, despite the 2 interceptions, one of which really wasn't his fault. The defender muscled the football away from the running back out of the backfield. So, really, that one pick in the end zone, which was an egregious pick, that was really the only mistake that he made in this ball game. Old Saint Nick, up to his same tricks, got it done for these Eagles. Again, check. Protect up front on both sides. I actually thought that the Eagles did a pretty bang-up job of protecting Nicholas Foles in the pocket. I don't know if he was sacked any more than once in this game, if that. I don't recall him being under too much pressure, too much duress. He got hit a couple of times as he was releasing the ball, but I don't really recall him being under too much pressure. So give the Eagles front a lot of credit. There was a hit there by Mack late that I thought would have had a chance to wrap this game up. Bears up 15-10. Foles gets hit as he's throwing the football by Mack. And if Kyle Fuller doesn't slip, he's going to pick that football off and he's going to walk into the end zone. Instead, he slips on the ground. The ball falls harmlessly to the ground. And the Eagles ultimately go on a game-winning drive thereafter. So, unfortunately, a play was there to be made and it didn't get done. But the offensive line protected up front on the offensive side. On the defensive side, though, I thought that the Eagles failed to get pressure on Mitchell Trubisky. He carved them up. We'll talk about that a little bit later on here in a second. But they didn't hold up their end of the bargain defensively. You didn't hear anything out of Fletcher Cox. Bennett did have 1 sack in this game, late in the game, but Timmy Jernigan's was good. All of them were good against the run. but nothing in terms of impacting the game from a passing standpoint. Trubisky was pretty comfortable all game long, and so they didn't necessarily do their jobs on that front, but with the offense doing what they did and really keeping Khalil Mack in company and Nicholas Foles, I think he did get sacked by Leonard Floyd early in the game, if I'm not mistaken, like the first possession when they were driving for a touchdown. I think he got sacked on that final third down that led to the first field goal of the game. Other than that, I don't recall him really being pressured and getting sacked. So I'll give them a check there, even though it's a half a check. It's a check nonetheless. Never trust a man with two first names, Alshon Jeffrey. He was massive in this game. 6 catches. I believe he had over 80 yards receiving. So he goes back to Chicago and makes some plays and helps his team win the football game. So you get a check there as well. Trubisky. The defense's job was to prove that Mitchell Trubisky wasn't true. He wasn't ready for the show. He was supposed to struggle, make some mistakes. He threw for over 300 yards in this game and made some beautiful passes and carved up this Eagles secondary, which you're supposed to do, which is why I don't give them a chance next week, because Drew Brees is going to carve that secondary up, eat them alive next week. But you failed on that one. Mitchell Trubisky ate your ass alive. You didn't prove him to be untrue. His mama named him Mitchell. I'm going to call him Mitchell. He's Mitchell Trubisky tonight. And finally, A. Doug, be you, bruh. You did that. You did that tonight. You rolled the dice. That fourth down at the end of the game, everybody was questioning, why did you call a timeout if you don't get it? Doug wasn't worried about that shit. Doug was like, look, I'm going to make sure I get my best play call in here. I'm going to make sure that everybody's in sync. Everybody knows what the hell is going on. I'm going to make sure that everything with this play that is our season for all intents and purposes is right, and everybody's on the same page. So Doug essentially said, everybody sit down, shut the hell up. I know what I'm doing. I'm going to take this timeout because we're not going to need the damn timeout. You know why? Because we're going to score on fourth down. That's why. Shut up, sit down, and let me do what I do best. And he drew up a masterful play in which Golden Tate slow-played it off the line of scrimmage, looked like he was going to block, load Sherrick McManus to sleep, and then went out on a speed out and won. And Nicholas Foles put it on him. Touchdown. Hey, Doug, be you, bruh. He did. Check. And the Eagles got the win. You go to the Bears. Their keys to victory. Monsters of the Midway. They showed up. They showed out. They did what they were supposed to do. They held. If you hold a team to 16 in this league, you're supposed to win the game. No questions asked. You're supposed to win. They did their job. They forced 2 turnovers along the way. They did enough for the Bears to advance to the divisional round of the postseason. Unfortunately for them, special teams didn't do their end of the bargain, didn't hold up their end of the bargain, and the offense didn't score enough points. Speaking of which, no Folesing around. All right, the defense did a great job of bottling up Nicholas Foles for the most part, forcing 2 interceptions and a couple of errant throws that could have went the other way. I talked about the Mack hit that should have been picked off if Kyle Fuller doesn't slip. There are opportunities in this football game, but nonetheless, the only thing I can say is that when you needed a stop and you had some opportunities, there was a 3rd and long that you allowed them to run Alshon Jeffrey. Never, ever trust a man with 2 first names right into zone coverage and pick up about 14 on 3rd and like 11. That led to the touchdown. It put him down at around the 2-yard line. They tried to run it twice. You shut him down, and then you were able to force a 3rd down incompletion, and then they got the touchdown on 4th down. But other than that drive there where you had to have it and you didn't get it, in the first drive of the game where I thought Foles looked to be in sync with the offense, I thought you really pretty much did a pretty good job against Nicholas Foles and this Eagles offense. Coco Gadget Cohen. Look, bottom line is Cohen made a big play at the end on the kickoff return, had a nice catch early in the game up the seam. But other than that, he was pretty much reduced to being a non-factor in this game. But that return could have been a huge play that helped propel them to the divisional round. That was a massive return. And so you needed a big play out of Cohen. You got a big play out of Cohen. Unfortunately, Cody Parkey wasn't able to hold up his end of that deal there. But Coco Gadget Cohen, you get a half a check there. He wasn't as big of impact player as I thought he was going to be, but he made some big plays. That none bigger than the return late to set up great field position to give them a chance to kick the game-winning field goal. Don't Mitch up on me now. You either, Matt. I thought both of these guys handled this game beautifully. I thought Matt, I thought he did a great job of kind of maneuvering through this game. I thought he did a great job with the timeouts. Some would argue that he should have used his first timeout after the first play, not allow 40 whatever seconds to tick off the clock. I didn't have a problem with him because I think in his mind he wanted to keep one timeout in his back pocket. And he knew the Eagles were going to run it twice, and after second down, not getting it, they were going to throw it 2 times if need be. So I think the thought process was, I want to keep one of these timeouts in my back pocket for when I get on offense, if I need it. So I didn't have a problem with the way he used his timeouts. I thought Matt Nagy did a great job with play calling in this game. I actually was surprised that Jordan Howard had the amount of success he had on the ground. I didn't think he would be able to have any space running in this game whatsoever, but there were a couple of times he was a shoestring tackle away from breaking off a massive run. So I thought they stuck with the run enough in this game. I thought there were some great double moves that they dialed up, seeing how aggressive the Eagles were playing on the underneath routes, especially their corner, their rookie out of Pitt, Avonte Maddox, how he was trying to jump everything underneath. And they ate his ass alive with double moves. And you got to give some credit to Matt Nagy for dialing up some beautiful play calls there and having the protection to get it down the field. And I thought Mitchell Trubisky was outstanding in this game. I don't know. What more can I say? I don't know what more you want out of Mitchell Trubisky. What more do you want from me? What more you want from Mitch in this game? Mitchell Trubisky was outstanding, threw for over 300 yards, put him in a position to win this football game, made throw after throw after throw. If guys could stay on their feet and stop falling down, i.e. Bellamy falling down on a play where I thought he should have been able to score. I think they ultimately scored a touchdown on that drive anyway. But if Parkey makes the field goal, we're talking about how clutch Mitchell Trubisky was in this football game. That throw at the end to Allen Robinson. How about AR-15 in this game? Allen Robinson was a stud. That was money well spent there. He was outstanding, man. Outstanding in this football game. But so they get a check there. I thought both of those guys showed out on a big stage. Their first time being here, one as a head coach, one as a starting quarterback, and they both played and coached well in this football game. But the one that they needed the most to show up didn't show up. And it's the final one, and I had a feeling it would come down to this because the Bears don't score a bunch of points. And I had a feeling it was going to come down to this. And I said it on the telecast, don't allow this game to come down to a Cody Parkey field goal. You say butter, I say parquet, as in Cody Parkey. Don't let it come down to a Cody Parkey field goal. And I told the Bears, and I told the Chargers, and the Chargers said, look, don't lump me in with these clowns. I got a kicker. Well, I'm talking to the damn Bears then. I told you to go out and get the damn kicker that the Falcons had and the Raiders had last year, and Giorgio Tavecchio. I said, if his ass is on the streets, he's better than what you got. Fix it before it costs you a game in the postseason. They didn't listen to me. They trotted out Cody Parkey, and just like he missed versus the Dolphins, just like he missed 4 times in a game earlier this season where he hit the crossbar 4 times, he clunked it off the damn crossbar and cost his team a chance at potentially the Super Bowl. Cost them a chance at advancing in the postseason, and who knows what happens if they go to L.A. next week. Who knows? But that's dead now because you decided that Cody Parkey was good enough to kick field goals for you. So I don't feel bad. Don't feel bad for you at all because I tried to warn you 2 months ago, 3 months ago. This was not a good idea. Fix it before it becomes a problem. It's called being proactive. You weren't proactive, and now you're going home. You say butter, I say parquet. As in Cody Parkey stinks. So there's that. So I'll give you some quick analysis before we get to your comments. I pretty much said everything I needed to say. Nicholas Foles, man. God damn this guy, man. I tell you what. Nicholas Foles. God damn it, Nicholas Foles. Man, oh man, is this guy clutch or what for these damn Eagles? I just can't get rid of these damn Eagles. They're like one of those hard back roly-poly bugs where you step on it and it just rolls over and then you step on it again and it kind of curls up and it's not dead and you're like, God damn it. I think I got to get out my steel toe Wolverine boots to step on these damn Eagles to get rid of them or something. I mean, my goodness, Nicholas Foles, they needed him the most. Man, did he step up. Golden Tate was also outstanding in this game. Had a nice catch over the middle of the football field. Took a massive shot, held on to the rock on a third down. And then, of course, the game winner. That was clutch as well. Man, these Eagles, I tell you what, man, they die hard. Boy, oh boy. They got a little lucky at the end with the missed field goal, but they put themselves in position. Again, remember that luck is opportunity and preparation when those two things meet. The Eagles put themselves in a position to get lucky and win this football game. Great timeout by Doug Peterson because for some reason with bad kickers, they always make the first one. You know, the one where the timeout happens, they always make that one. It's the one after that you got to worry about. And I said, he's going to miss this kick. He should have did it like the first time. Right before half, Doug Peterson did the same thing. Parkey didn't kick the football. And I said, why did you kick this one? You didn't kick that one and then you made the next one. Don't kick the football. He kicked it anyway. It went up through the uprights. I said, you're going to miss now, you clown. Anyway, big win for the Eagles. I thought that they were outstanding in all facets of the game, really. The defense, I was honestly speaking, let me say this. For as much as they got torched in the second half of this game, I thought the back half actually held up in this game for the Eagles. I'm just saying this now, though. That's if you play the way you played today, next week you're gonna lose by double digits. I'm just telling you because you got zero pressure on Mitchell Trubisky. If you can't fluster Drew Brees next week and you give him the kind of time you gave Trubisky tonight, Drew Brees is going to have a field day. Michael Thomas will have a ball 70 next week. Benjamin Watson will catch 6 balls for about 80 yards, and all the other bums that they have sprinkled around there, they'll contribute 3-4 catches apiece, and they'll score 36 points, and they'll beat you 36-20. If you do what you did tonight defensively, in terms of no pressure, because I thought the defense in the back half held up for a great portion of this game, but they're not good enough, and so you have to get pressure. And they started to be aggressive, and they started to try to jump underneath routes. And they started running double moves, and I'm telling you right now, if you don't get pressure on Brees next week, there's going to be trouble and issues. They're going to score more than 15 points. I assure you of this. There were some runs that almost popped. You got to clean that up too. Jordan Howard, I expected no running room whatsoever for the Bears. As a matter of fact, I pretty much told them that their run game was DOB, dead off the bus in this game. And I was wrong, all right? I was wrong. He had space, and there were opportunities, and guys just barely tripped him up. You give Alvin Kamara, you give Ingram that kind of space next week, they're going to make those runs. I'm just telling you. But I can also say this. If you're able to keep the game close like you did today, next week, you're going to have a shot, especially with number 9 under center. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy what this guy has done to this Eagles football team. They just believe. It's different than when Wentz is under center. And trust me, Wentz is your franchise quarterback. He's not going anywhere. But there's a different belief when Nicholas Foles is under center. It's a different level of we're going to get it done. They don't have it with Wentz like they used to. Remember, Wentz was the one that started all of this. A lot of people forget because of what Foles has done over the last 2 seasons at the end that they were 12-2 or whatever they were, 12-1 or whatever they were, 11-2 when Foles went down. And Foles had this magic too. Or excuse me, Wentz had this magic too before he got injured. And then Foles came in and just kind of picked up where Wentz left off. And remember, Foles wasn't even that sharp in the regular season last year at the end. It wasn't until the second half of the Atlanta game in Wildcard weekend where he started to really the divisional round, where he started to ratchet it up. And then he just got hot. And he went on this tear. Man, these Eagles, boy, I tell you, they are something else. If you're the Bears, this one stings, man. This one hurts. This one hurts a bunch. I mean, this shit hurts a lot because I felt like if you won this game, you had every right to believe you were going to go to L.A. and win. There was nothing stopping you from being in the NFC Championship game. And I'm going to tell you right now, Dallas had a legitimate shot of going to New Orleans and winning. You could have been back at home for the NFC Championship game. Let that sink in for a second. You were one Cody Parkey field goal away, one defensive fourth down stop away from being potentially in the NFC Championship. Now, again, you had to get through L.A., but you would have loved to have had the opportunity to see if you couldn't do what you did in Week 13 to the Rams again. This is so unfortunate because you played well enough to win. On both sides of the football, to be honest with you. Trubisky was exceptional in this game. And remember, I think he had a cramp early in the game. He came up lame early in the game. He didn't even run and use his legs like he normally does. And he just shredded them with his arm. Like, it was a coming-of-age moment tonight for Mitchell Trubisky. Throwing the football. He was so confident tonight. I was impressed. And if you take that confidence that was built tonight and you move on to L.A., where your crowd was going to come in and take over the Coliseum, you had a legitimate shot. And I was actually pleasantly surprised with the way you ran the football tonight. She thought that there were some yards left out on the field and that you actually didn't run it that bad. There was so much hope for next week and beyond. And now it's gone. I thought the defense was exceptional. And you didn't have Eddie Jackson and you didn't have your nickel corner that you normally have out there. And I thought those guys battled. McManus battled. The backup safety, Dion Bush, he battled. I thought you got good efforts from guys that you didn't really want to have on the field but didn't have a choice. I would have loved to have seen you get a little bit more pressure on Nicholas Foles. But all things aside, you picked him off twice. You were physical. The Eagles had nowhere to run. I mean, everything short of a defensive score on your part. And getting the stop late. I feel honest about this. You needed to get that stop because you didn't want to leave it up to Cody Parkey. I mean that. I sincerely do. You didn't want this to come down. And I talked about it profusely in the prediction and keys to victory video. You don't want this to come down to Cody Parkey. I told you. You didn't listen. You needed to get that stop, defense. And for as good as you were, you had to get that stop. You had two chances. 3rd and 11, and you let Alshon Jeffrey catch a 14-yard pass down to the 2. And 4th and goal from the 2. You had 2 shots to get 1 stop. Well, 2 chances to get 3 stops. And you failed. Twice. And that's pretty much where the game was lost. I know the offense went down the field and put you in field goal range. I know it was a great return by Tariq Cohen, and everything was lined up for you to advance. And you played well enough for your team to win. Again, you give up 16 points, you're supposed to win 100% of the time. Not 90, not 95. You hold a NFL offense to 16 points. You are supposed to win 100% of the time. Unfortunately, Cody Parkey didn't do his job. But again, I don't feel bad for you because you had been forewarned about this. So, it is what it is. I feel bad for the Bears because I actually thought they had a legitimate shot at making it to the Super Bowl. With their defense and the way they are set up and with Trubisky playing this well. This is what I didn't account for. The way he was throwing the ball today, if he could do that the remainder of the postseason, they had a legitimate shot. A legitimate shot. And Allen Robinson was a man possessed tonight. But the Eagles, man, they just got some kind of juju going, man. It's some good stuff going, man. I don't know. But I got a super chat. BK Soldier says, Saints-Colts rematch in the Super Bowl from 2009. Appreciate the super chat, my man. That's not out of the realm of possibility, man. My girl said to me as we were watching this game, she says, I'm going to tell you right now, the Colts have that same aura about them that the Eagles had last year. I said, you're not wrong. Okay? You're not wrong. She said they started off slow, 1-5. Now, the Eagles didn't do that last year, but she's like, they started off slow, and now they just got this glow about them. I don't know. She's not wrong. They got to go to Kansas City and win. Nobody's going to probably give them a chance. I know some of you are giving them a chance. Not many are going to give them a chance to win that game. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, let's get to the comments. Colts fan says, Lou, my man, you were 100% correct. Don't leave it up to Parkey, and the Bears did exactly that. I rest my case. I got Munson says, the way Collinsworth talks about Alshon Jeffrey, never, ever trust a man with two first names. He says, you would swear he was starting for the 76ers. Double doink. Ladies and gents, my goodness. And you know what was crazy? Is I thought it still went in because of the second doink off the crossbar. I was like, damn, did that go back in? I've never seen a kick do that. And I have to talk about this quickly, too. You learn something new every day. And if you watch football enough, you'll learn something new eventually. Because if you've watched football enough, you feel like you know just about every rule and you've seen just about everything that could happen on a football field. Well, today, in one game, I learned a new rule that I had no idea about, where there was a catch, a fumble, no clear recovery, so now it's incomplete. Where's the psychological sense in that? Okay? Like, when does a catch become incomplete because nobody recovered a fumble? I'm confused. All right, so that's a thing. That's a rule. Okay? And I've never seen a ball hit the crossbar, then hit the upright, then have enough English to then go downward on its trajectory, hit the crossbar, and then bounce out. I've never seen it bounce in doing that either. I've never seen it hit the upright, then the crossbar. Not from that distance. I've seen it hit off the upright barely above the crossbar and then hit the crossbar and go in. I've seen that happen. I've never seen it hit that high off the upright and then come down and still hit the crossbar. That was different. Colts fan also says, you can't help but feel bad for the Bears, though. What a season. I don't feel bad for them. You know why? Because they thought it was okay to go into the postseason with Cody Parkey. They thought it was okay. The man missed 10 kicks, if you count missed extra points this season. They thought it was okay. They ignored, I always tell people, don't ignore the stop signs. Don't ignore the red lights. Don't drive through that red light. Don't drive through that stop sign. They're there for a reason. Come to a complete stop. Nope, they decided to go through that stop sign. And we call that a rolling stop. You get a ticket for that. Well, they got ticketed tonight. That's a hefty fine. Your season's over. Stop at the stop signs. Stop at the stoplights. Don't get a stupid ticket. They got a dumb ticket tonight. Jared Coleman says, hey, Louie T. We were all holding on to our seats when Cody Parkey took us for a ride and eventually dropped us all on our faces again. They were so close and the defense played lights out. Exactly. The defense deserved, hell, Mitchell Trubisky deserved better tonight. The defense played their asses off. They deserve better. Colts fan says, how about Trubisky, though? He made some beautiful throws today. Did he ever, Colts fan? Did he ever? Derek B says, all season, all we heard was how trash the NFC East was. Now the only NFC division with two teams left in the playoffs. Playoffs? Hey, look, man, when you play defense, which the Eagles have gotten better as the season has progressed at doing, and the Cowboys are one of the best in the league, when you play defense, you give yourself a chance. And now with Nicholas Foles in the saddle, once again, they've got this aura about them. They've got that glow. You feel as though you can't let go. Your mind and soul, it lose control. It's the power of Nicholas Foles. I can't explain it. He's got that glow. I don't know why this man continues to win like this. Derek B says, the doink. Now I've seen everything. I think all of us, that was our first time seeing the ball do that. Upright off the crossbar. Storm says, I have no idea what Big Dick Nick does to that Eagles team, but does he have black magic, or is he the football god's chosen one? I don't know, man. I can't tell you. This is insane, though, this guy. Oh, for those of you out there that are new to the channel, welcome. Subscribe to the Louie T Network if this is your first time here for more great NFL content. And use the hashtag LouieTLive if you want your comment read on the air. Jackson Shaw says, ST Nick is a curse to the NFC. I don't know, man. This guy is ridiculous. Storm says, if you didn't like today's game, you don't like good defense. I'll take today's games or more games like this often over the 53-51 barn burners. He's talking about the 54-51 Chiefs-Rams game we saw earlier. Craig Smith says, truly a game of inches, Lou. No doubt about it. Couldn't have said it better myself, Craig. Emperor Meach says, it's funny because my spidey senses told me the Bears got cute and went for that too. Would haunt them. Should have taken the extra point. Nope. Emperor Meach, you're wrong there. The play was to go for two there. There was no reason. There was no nutritional value, no benefit to kicking an extra point because you still lose on an extra point. So if the Eagles score a touchdown, instead of going for two, if you kick the extra point, you know what they're going to do in that situation? They're going to just kick the extra point and win 17-16. Like, it's no difference. You have to go for two to extend it out to a 7-point lead. Now, the real question, and I asked myself this, would Doug Peterson have went for two had the Bears gotten the 2-point conversion, went up 17-10, and then that touchdown late by Tate made it 17-16? Would he have went for two? You know Doug is all about rolling the dice. Would he have went for two there? He probably would have kicked the extra point, but I don't know. Black Al B says, for the love of God, just pick the Pigeons for next week so they can lose. I thought about it, but I can't do it because I don't believe in that. Like, I don't believe that I am solely responsible. Like, this is Nick Foles doing. I'm not doing this. But I do have just a small part in the success of the Eagles because I continuously doubt them and disrespect them. I didn't disrespect them this time, but I didn't think they were going to win this game. But I didn't disrespect them like I was last year. I'm going to probably disrespect them this week, but I probably won't because of what Nicholas Foles has done. His body of work speaks for itself. Even though I've seen this game before in New Orleans, even though it was Carson Wentz at quarterback, and I saw the ass thrashing take place, and I don't know if there's much different from the Eagles then to now defensively. They've got Nicholas Foles, and that worries me. That worries me to a degree. So, I don't know. Colts fan says, it's crazy to think we could see an Eagles-Cowboys NFC Championship game. It's not out of the realm of possibility. As a wise man once said to me, so you're telling me there's a chance? I am. All right? It's a long shot. You're talking about two roadies going up against two of the better NFC teams. But stranger things have happened. It's a possibility. Double A says, as a Vikings fan, it was so fun watching my divisional rivals lose a playoff game to a missed field goal, as he can attest to. He's seen it done up close and personal. He knows what it feels like to lose a game on a last-second field goal. Silver V says, tipping my hat to you and your lockdown coverage. You're a beast at analyzing the game of football. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Reby says, Golden Tate's TD was golden. Living my life like I'm golden. Living my life like it's golden. Living my life like it's golden. So Doug icing the kicker. So was Doug icing the kicker. Look, Doug did everything right down the stretch, including taking that time out to make sure everybody was on the same page and on one accord. Doug iced the kicker twice. It didn't work the first time, but hey, if it doesn't work the first time, try and try again. Try till you succeed. And he succeeded in the biggest spot of the game. Alley Side says, Lou, what's going on? Two of the best defensive teams just got eliminated, and I went 1-3 this week, shaking my head. Yeah, the Ravens went down, and the Bears went down, and then there was one in terms of great defensive football teams left in the playoffs. We started with 3. We're down to just 1 in the Dallas Cowboys, and we'll see if they're able to outlast the Saints, or excuse me, the Rams next Saturday night. You went 1-3. Ouch. You need to watch more football. Reese says, most entertaining low-scoring game ever. I wouldn't go that far. Okay, I've seen some really low-scoring games that were very entertaining, including the one that your team played in once upon a time against the greatest show on turf. That game was, what, 13-12 or something crazy like that? Anyway, this was a very fun game to watch. I will admit that as well. Emperor Meat says, then again, maybe they didn't trust Cody to make the extra point, but Bears gonna bear. Now, it wasn't about not trusting him to make the extra point. That was simply a mathematics thing. It makes sense. If you understand score and what it meant to kick the extra point versus going for 2, then you know that there's no difference. You kick the extra point, you still could lose by 1. You go for 2, you still could lose the game by 1 or 2 or 3. So it really didn't make a difference. You had to go for 2 there. It was the right call. Colts fan says this game was looking eerily similar to Falcons-Eagles from last year. Damn sure did. Silver V says Golden Tate was just the piece the Eagles needed to add to their team, and he showed up in a major way at the most critical juncture of the football game. He made some big catches today, as I mentioned earlier in the show. Reese says that missed field goal was caused by the football gods, Lou. I guess. But what are they punishing the Bears for? What did they do wrong? What did they deserve to miss? RG3 hashtag says, Cody Parkey needs to get cut ASAP. Got any grapes? Even though you didn't use the hashtag, that's a pretty funny comment, so I'm going to read it anyway. But Got Any Grapes says, Cody Parkey's favorite wrestler in the 90s, Doink. That was a really good one. That was a good one. Oh, respect. I respect you for that one. Jackson Shaw says, I remember you talking about Cody Parkey and Michael Badgley and how bad they were after Chargers Steelers, and it came back to bite them in the ass. Look, Badgley has proven me wrong, and Parkey has proven me right. I know kickers when I see them. I didn't know, however, Cody Parkey is a retread, so that's why I came down hard on him. I thought, and I was wrong, so I gave out a double O earlier, thought that Badgley was a retread. I thought I saw him somewhere else before, miss some kicks, and get cut. I was wrong. This was his first opportunity, and he took advantage of it. He's a rookie kicker. He deserves an opportunity to prove that he can kick in this league, and thus far, he has proven that. So I was wrong about Badgley. I thought he was a retread. I know Parkey is a retread. I've seen him in Philadelphia. Hell, the Eagles fans know about Cody Parkey. That's where he started, all right? He's a bum. So I knew that this could happen. They didn't listen to me. Shame on them. The 20th Mike says, did you say something about the Bears kicker catching up to them in these article moments? I said it. I knew what I saw, and I knew that this could happen. I knew it was a distinct possibility. Unfortunately, I was right because I had the Bears in this game. I could have had a clean weekend, 4-0. Instead, I was wrong. But it's all good, though. It's all good. I'll bounce back. Reese says, the old ice the kicker move, Lou. A play as old as football. They should have iced him like Ron Rivera did in the Pepsi commercial. That would have been sweet, right? That's a dumbass commercial, right? Anyway. J.K. Man says, I said Philly was going to win. I thought the Eagles versus Bears in 2001 where McNabb took the Eagles to the NFC Championship game. I had a weird feeling Chicago would blow it. And they actually played well enough to win this game. Unfortunately, Cody Parkey didn't do his part. Emperor Meat says, so Rams versus Cowboys, Saints versus Eagles. That will be interesting out in L.A. And he said the Saints and the Eagles, I'm sensing another ass whooping. That's how I feel, but hey, I've said it before about these Eagles, and I've been wrong every single time with Nicholas Foles at quarterback. J. Camman says, truth is, Chicago should have won that one. Yep. Leo RJSP says, what do you think about Mitch's game? I talked about Trubisky very, very glowingly tonight. High praise for Mitchell Trubisky's game tonight. And if this is what he is moving forward, the Bears got it right. He was outstanding tonight. Will Ford says, Cody Parkey spotted leaving the locker room in a bulletproof vest with his helmet still on. Hey, chill, Will, chill. Chill, that's the God. Chill, God. That's the shit right there, man. Let that man live. Emperor Meat says, by the way, this season has raised the value of good kickers because the majority of the kickers have been ass. I've always said that I did a series like 4 years ago on this channel. And one of it was Respect My Kicker. It was a series that I did. It was like a 5-part series, and like part 2 or 3 of the series was Respect My Kicker. And I've even had an episode of my podcast where I've talked about kickers. You got to have good kickers, man. Like, this shit will come back to bite you in the ass. You can't get away with suspect kicking. Ask the Tampa Bay Bucks. They'll tell you the last couple of years what bad field goal kicking has done to them. All right? Ask the Chargers before this year what field goal kicking has done to them. Ask the Seahawks what field goal kicking did to them last year. Ask the Vikings what field goal kicking did to them 2 years ago. Field goal kickers will bite you in the ass if you don't get it right. There's too many kickers out there to get it wrong. Kevin says, I'm sorry, but you did see Mitchell Trubisky throw near the end of the first half. Should have got picked. Such a horrible throw. Yeah, that was a really bad decision and an even worse throw. He never saw the defender there. Both of them, him and Foles, both had one regrettable throw in this game. Foles got picked off. Trubisky's didn't. That was the only difference between the two of them. But Trubisky was outstanding in this game. Minus that throw, he was exceptional. I'm not going to throw away his entire performance on one throw because it wasn't like that was at the end of the game, and it's not like that was the one that ended the game. He was outstanding in this game. He was exceptional, and he took his team down the field with the game on the line, gave him a shot, and unfortunately, they weren't able to get the win. Colts fan says, where was that Bears D on that last drive? I was hypercritical of them on that final drive of the game. I already chastised them for that. Likely Phenomenon says, what's good, Lou? Do you do a full first round mock? Yeah, I do every year. I even have a contest every year about mock drafts. Going to have another one this year. It's going to be for something. I'm trying to have one with some money involved this year. JP says, what a season for the Bears, but that kicker is going to get the Blair Walsh treatment all off season. Yikes. Reby says, my brother is a Bears fan. We won't speak until probably Wednesday of next week. Oh, man, that sucks. Wow. I know he's hurt, and big ups to them, and a NFC battle for years to come, I believe. For sure. That one hurts. I feel for your bro, because that one hurts. That one is a sunbitch there one. That one hurts. That stings. J. Camman says, I don't see the Eagles beating the Saints, though. I think this is as far as they go. I feel the same way, but again, I'm starting to really feel like Nick Foles is something else. Mary Jo says, Peterson made one big play call at the end, calling that last time out to destabilize Parkey, and St. Nick did his magic converting on that 4th down. Still, the Bears' attack could have done more. I agree. There were points left out on the scoreboard. But I was really upset at, for as good a game as Allen Robinson had, there was a possession there that they had to settle for a field goal, and it could have been a touchdown. I thought that he needed to drag that second foot down. It was a great throw by Trubisky down, I think, inside the 5 at around the 3-yard line or so. and he stepped out of bounds, he's got to drag his feet there. He's got to get 2 feet down in bounds there. There's no excuse. He's too good of a receiver not to get 2 feet in bounds there. If he catches that pass, they get inside the 5, they're going to score a touchdown. They're going to score. The Eagles aren't good enough defensively to keep them out of the end zone from inside the 5-yard line running the football. They were going to score. And that one hurt. That one hurt for sure. Reeby says, I screamed and jumped so hard on that missed field goal, I tinkled a little. No, you didn't, Reeby. No, you didn't, girl. Oh, she says, hashtag we aren't done yet. Eagles, baby. No, you did not. Stop it. I'm done with you. FBG Tony says, Avonte Maddox is trash. Hashtag no cap. Hashtag on my mama. He's not trash, man. He actually played well. He bit on some double moves, but the man played well tonight, I thought. And remember, this is a guy that was drafted as a safety. Avonte Maddox played safety at Pitt, played corner and safety, but was drafted as a safety and has been all around the block, nickel, boundary, safety. He's been everywhere. So I thought he played well. I thought he held up well. Chuck Sharp says, Dallas pretty much getting a home game next week. You see them winning. I'll talk about that on the prediction and keys to victory video in the middle of the week. But I will agree with one statement that you made. It will be a home game for the Cowboys. They will get at least 50% of the crowd. At worst, it'll be 60-40 Rams, but they're gonna infiltrate that stadium. There will be I'm feeling like it's gonna be at least 50% Cowboys fans. Silver V says, if Parkey makes the kick, is Smallwood ever forgotten for coming up short with the leap on the 2-point conversion? I don't think he would have been blamed for anything. That was a great play defensively by the Bears. I don't think that Eagles fans would have pointed out Wendell Smallwood coming up short on the 2-point conversion. So Wendell Smallwood coming up small on the 2-point conversion. I don't think they would have really blamed him for that had they lost the game. They probably would have blamed special teams, blamed the defense. There might have been a small sector of Eagles fans that blamed Smallwood, but that's not where the game would have been lost. FBG Tony says, I agree with your point next week. It might be 48-7 part 2 if they don't clean up their bullshit. Bro, Nick gets everyone's game up, bro. Everyone steps their game up. And I think, too, as a receiver, you feel better. If you're an Eagles receiver, you feel better about Foles being in because you feel like you're going to get the rock. Whereas with Wentz, you felt like he was going to force it to Ertz on 3rd and 7 every time. Like, Alshon Jeffrey has become a bigger part of the offense now since Foles has gotten back in. So has Aguilar. He's reemerged as a big-time threat for them since Foles has entered the lineup. Ertz is still getting his, but it feels like everyone has a part in the offense now, not just Ertz. Garrett Buckmaster says, I'm so happy the Rams got Dallas over Chicago. Really? We'll see how that works out for you. Sammy J12 says, I can't see Foles not being your starter if he wins another Super Bowl. I'm going to be honest with you. Foles leads them to another Super Bowl. I still don't see the Eagles committing to him because they have their franchise QB in Carson Wentz. You do not, under any circumstances, part ways with Carson Wentz. He's the guy moving forward. And I understand what Foles has done, and it's great. And if he wins another Super Bowl, he will be an all-time legend. He is already a legend in Philadelphia. There will be a statue in Philly of Nicholas Foles if he wins another Super Bowl. If there already isn't a statue of Nicholas Foles, which I think there already is if I'm not mistaken. There will be a street named after Nicholas Foles if they win another Super Bowl. But they aren't getting rid of Carson Wentz. I assure you of this. Emperor Meat says, just seen a video of Parkey getting booed off his ass in Chicago going into the tunnel. That man is about to be like the Malcolm X pitcher with the gun looking out the window due to that field goal. I'm going to tell you right now, he's going to get the, what's the name of that Cubs fan that had the headphones on that caught the ball away from Moises Alou in that playoff game? I forgot his name. Y'all know who the hell I'm talking about. He's about to be him in Chicago until they win again in the playoffs. He's him. J. Cam Man says, I also believe the Rams will beat Dallas because I don't think this is the year the Cowboys finally make it back to the NFC Championship game. Chuck Sharp says, could you see Indianapolis making the Super Bowl? It's not out of the realm of possibility. Kevin says, I just noticed every NFC North team's kicker this year played like trash. Chuck Sharp says, what game you looking forward to next week? Of the four, I'm looking forward to all of them because none of them, to me, other than Eagles, Saints, do I think I know the outcome. But then again, I'm reluctant to say I know the outcome in Eagles, Saints either. But Colts, Chiefs should be a hell of a game. And it's not going to look anything like the games we saw this weekend with defense. That one's going to be 31-28, 35-31, okay? But then you got the Chargers and the Patriots. That one's going to look a lot like the game we saw today between the Chargers and the Ravens. Not a lot of offensive fireworks going to go on in that football game either. Then you got the two NFC games. And the Cowboys-Rams, that one's going to be fun because I don't know what to expect in that game, to be honest with you. And then you've got the nightcap, the Eagles and the Saints. That one's going to be fun. That one's going to be fun. They're going to be rocking in the dome for sure. If I had to pick one, if you put a gun to my head and you made me choose a game, I probably am looking most forward to Rams-Cowboys next week. J. Cam Man says, but Eagles, Saints, not too far behind. If you're asking me which game I'm looking least forward to, it's the Patriots-Chargers game, even though I'm just as intrigued with that game as I am any other game. But if there was a pecking order, it'd go Rams and Cowboys, it'd go Saints, Eagles, Chiefs, and Colts, followed by the Chargers and Patriots. J. Cam Man says, I feel sad that all of the TV nominations on the Golden Globes are not TV anymore. Why are you talking about the Golden Globes? He says, sorry, it was on after the game. Okay, I guess I cut you a little bit of slack there. J. Cam Man says, sad year for the NFC North. Who would have believed that the two NFC East teams would still be alive and none of the North would be? Stop sleeping on the NFC East, man. Redskins Nation says, I hope we don't get an Eagles-Cowboys NFC Championship game because I could definitely see Dallas winning next week. Reby says, last year I said if we win against Minnesota, we will go to and win the Super Bowl. I'm saying now, if we win against the Saints, it's over. We're going to and getting our back-to-back Super Bowls. You win against the Saints on the road, I can't see anybody stopping you. So I agree with you that if you win next week on the road in New Orleans, arguably the hardest place to win in the NFL at this current juncture, if you go there and you win, I'm done. You got me. Hands up. Put the cuffs on me. Take me away to Eagles jail. You got me. I'm done. Let's see. All right. Let's go back up. We got 6 minutes. So I'll try to get through as many comments as I can. Here we go. All right. I think I made it back. Let's see. Where we at? Wow. Let's see. Here we go. Black L.A.B says, the two best defenses in the league, Ravens and Bears, are now one and done. Shaking my head. Hashtag offense reigns supreme. It's not like they lost because their defenses weren't good enough. Their offenses didn't do enough. That was the problem. And really, you could argue that, you know, the Bears were a field goal away from moving forward. But it is what it is. Daquan Smith says, you think the Redskins tanking next year to get a quarterback from Bama? I don't think the Redskins are trying to tank at all. So, there's that. Sean Mack. What up, Sean Mack? It seems like it's been forever, bruh. Says, we have a legit chance for a Colts-Chargers AFC Championship game in L.A. LOL. And again, nothing's out of the realm of possibility. All right. Ed says, I'm so pissed off. Cody Parkey sucks. We had a great year. We'll be back next year. I agree with everything you just said. Michael Thompson says, good battle between Jason Peters and the Mac Attack. That was fun to watch. Peters got the best of it. Mac beat him once, but that was fun to watch for sure. Justin's stat to get cash says Saints 38, Eagles 21 in the game next week. Orlando Ordaz says Bears need to get a kicker in the offseason or draft one. Orlando Ordaz says, I got the Saints at home next week. I think you and most people feel the same way. Skull Candy TV says, that fumble call was embarrassing for the NFL. They're going to change that rule, I think, in the offseason. I mean, it's so obscure. You don't see it happen very often. But with the new catch rule, that could happen more often. I think they're going to change that in the offseason because it was embarrassing. Atlanta Fan 21 says, was talking to some other peeps, and they brought up the idea of Wentz to the Jags for a few first-round picks. If Foles pulls off another run, what do you think? It's not happening, bro. The Eagles have invested way too much in Carson Wentz. They believe in Carson Wentz. He is the future. All right, he's young, and he still has a lot of growing to do at the quarterback position. Meanwhile, Foles has probably played his best football. I don't see Foles having this same impact through a 16-game schedule. I think in small amounts and doses, Foles is lethal because they believe. Once he gets shipped off to Jacksonville or wherever he goes in the offseason and gets a major payday, you're going to see the same Foles that we probably saw with the Rams and even in Kansas City with the Chiefs. Watch what I tell you. Jake Camman says, I went 3-1, picked all away games. Oh, so you were able to win the Eagles game. Reby says, LOL, this Nicholas Foles doing, LOL, loving this resiliency. That feels familiar. We coming. Oh, man, it is amazing what Nicholas Foles has done for that fan base and that team. Gerard Johnson says, now we get ready for Nick versus Breeze. That's going to be fun next week. Black LB says, the Aints were looking shaky against the Steelers, so who knows what the hell is going to happen next week and who's going to win. You're right. They didn't look dominant against the Steelers, but the Steelers, I think, play a little bit better defense than that of the Philadelphia Eagles. But you're right. They didn't look dominant late in the season. Gerard Johnson also says the Eagles coach timed it right on the timeout call. He damn sure did. Black LB says the Vikes are the poster boys for egg on the face ass kickers. People can relate to that. The Q-Bone says, what up, Q? It's been a while, bruh. Says, glad the Eagles won. Didn't want the Rams to play the Bears. Be careful what you wish for. You just might get it. Caesar Augustus says, another NFC North team loses to a Bird team on a home game-winning field goal. Ouch. Sean Mack says, my Browns cut Parkey. That's how ass he is. LOL. Look, man, I tried to warn him. Gerard Johnson also says, the rest of the NFC North is laughing at the Bears. Will Ford says, voodoo is the only thing that can stop Nicholas Edward Foles. Call that man by his entire government name. I love it. Reese says, any news on when the podcast drops? It will drop tonight. The podcast is done. It's got to make some last minute changes to it, upload it, and you will know. Again, follow me on my Twitter account for the podcast at LTN Pod. Is the Twitter handle for the podcast. Sean Mack says, if Foles wins a second Super Bowl, he's getting at least $30 million from some team next year. LOL. He's probably getting $30 million from some team already. Not a year, though. If you talk about a year, I don't know about that. He's getting, if Case Keenum can get a 2-year, what did he get? A 2-year, $32 million contract or whatever it was. Foles is getting more than that. Larry G says, Matt Nagy and his players should focus on winning the game than having a party and twerking in the locker room. Don't try to rain on their parade. They were having fun. They played well all season long. They deserve to have fun in the locker room. That had nothing to do with them losing this game. Cody Parkey should have been gone. That's why they lost this game. Pamil Production says, Nick Foles is like Goldberg from the Mighty Ducks D3. Just comes up in the clutch. Taking it back. Way back into time. In any event, we've hit our hour mark and there are no more comments. So I thank you guys for joining me. What a game. What a first weekend of football. Big ups to the NFL for coming through with some clutch postseason football. That was outstanding. And there's more of that where it came from. I told you guys on the onset of the postseason that this is going to be an unpredictable postseason full of great action that we could all get behind. And they started off with an excellent weekend. They did not disappoint. There's more coming and more in store for us as we've got some great divisional round action ahead of us and some great matchups. So the divisional round is set. You've got in the Saturday first game slot, Colts at Chiefs. So 6 seed versus 1 seed. The two highest touchdown passing quarterbacks in the 2018 season squaring off against one another in Luck and Mahomes. In the night doubleheader on Saturday, you've got Rams hosting Cowboys. So you've got the 2 seed hosting the 4 seed there. That's going to be a dynamic football game. Then you go to Sunday in the 1 o'clock hour. You're going to most likely have Patriots hosting Chargers. That's going to be a nice little clash there. Phillip Rivers already said first thing he thought about when they won the game was 2007, which was the last playoff game he played in when he was on a torn ACL, lost to the Patriots. He's looking for redemption. He's going to get a chance to get it in Foxborough. That's going to be fun. That's the 2 seed versus the 5th seeded Chargers. And in the nightcap to wrap up divisional round weekend, you're going to get Saints hosting Eagles in a 1-6 matchup. So we get 1-6 matchups in both the AFC and the NFC. Should be a lot of fun. I'm your man, Louie T, signing off. Thank you for joining me on Wildcard Weekend. Look forward to you guys joining me throughout the course of the week and next weekend as well. Make sure you check out the podcast. It will be up in a matter of a few hours. Also, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the Louie T Network for more great content. If it's not your man T, it's not the best NFL coverage. It could be. Can't thank you guys enough for joining me all weekend long. For all of you out there, I'm your man Louie T signing off. See you guys later on in the week. Have a good one. And once again, thank you for joining me. Bears fall short in epic fashion. Eagles and Nicholas Foles keep the party going. 16-15 on a missed Cody Parkey field goal as the Eagles advance to take on the Saints. I'll see you next time. Take care.
Louie T.